So it's here. Finally, we can now say that two big things from the 7.3.0 mid-chapter are going to be available, not just on the PTB, but now live in-game, and that is going to be one, the new anti-phase camping mechanic, as well as the complete rework to the Skull Merchant.
Wicked old witch at last is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, ding dong, the witch is dead.
That's right. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Let's see what's exactly in all the update. First and foremost, the update releases today at 11 a.m. and the tome number 17 releases tomorrow, October 11th at 11 a.m. And here's a nice little map so everyone can see everything. Yay! The first thing we're going to look at is content. Killer perk updates, furtive chase. You become obsessed with one survivor. You lurk in the shadows, eliminating your victims one by one. When your obsession is hooked, gain an undetectable and 5% haste status effect for 14, 16, or 18 seconds. This is a new functionality for furtive, much like we're going to have some new information on, apparently, background player, the other perk that was updated. When the killer picks up another survivor, background player activates for 10 seconds. When you start running, break into a sprint at 200% of your normal running speed for 5 seconds, was 150% for 4 seconds. So we've upped it by a second. We've also increased the speed of the running. This perk cannot be used while suffering from exhaustion. This perk causes exhaustion though for 60, 50, 40 seconds, depending on the level of the perk. So this is what you get for background players. So you kind of have a little more viability to either A, get to a hook, or B, get out of there. Now we updated the Skull Merchant and there's been a lot of redo to her. We've gone pretty in depth on what they are, so I'm just gonna kind of breeze over it. They've kind of changed her from now being more of a chase killer, from being a 3-gen nightmare. So for example, they've removed active zone cylinder, they removed remote activation of drones. The killer now starts with 6 drones instead of 4. The minimum distance between drones is now 16 meters, it was 20, and the drone radius is now 10 meters. So now we have an idea of what they kind of made so that she no longer can just sit on a 3-gen lockdown. Radar. Press the ability button to open a radar to see the location survivors detected by drones or those with claw traps upon them. Each survivor detected on the radar increases the Skull Merchant's movement speed. The radar can also recall drones or change the direction of their scanner rotation. And there's also going to be a couple additions to drones now. There's 2 types. Lock on. The lock on meter fills when scanned by a drone and when failing to disable a drone. When the meter is full, the survivor receives a claw trap, become injured, and suffers from broken status effect. Additional scans briefly apply the hindered status effect. The claw trap broadcasts the survivor's location to the killer and can only be removed when the battery dies. Remove the exposed status effect from lock on. So that doesn't exist. There's no more exposed from it. They're just going to take broken status instead. A lot of her add-ons also got reworked to accommodate for her new powers. Adavalente effects last until the claw trap is removed. High power floodlight, blindness status applied when receiving a claw trap. Effect lasts until the claw trap is removed. Geographical readout. Increase action speed bonus when breaking pallets or breakable walls, damaging generators, and vaulting to 20%, up from 15%. This effect now is applied for 8 seconds after deploying a drone. High current upgrade. Increase the time survivors appear on radar when detective. Adaptive lighting. Reduce the bonus granted to undetectable status to 20%, down from 50. Supercharge. Increase the battery life of claw traps to 15%, was 12. Shotgun speakers. Survivors with a claw trap have no skill check warnings. Effect lasts until claw trap is removed. Low power mode. Decrease drone spawn cooldown. Vital targeting processor. Increase hinder status by 3% when survivor is detected by a drone. Brown noise generator. Oblivious status applied when receiving the claw trap. Effect lasts until claw trap is removed. It seems like a lot of these now are been changed to last until claw trap has been removed. Loose screw. Exhausted status applied when receiving a claw trap. Effect lasts 6 seconds, up from 3. Randomized strobes. Increases hinder status by 1 second when survivor is detected by a drone. Advanced movement production. Reveals survivor's aura when they receive a claw trap. Ultrasonic speaker, formerly known as ultrasonic trap speaker. Decreased scan immunity duration. Expired batteries. Decreases claw trap battery life 50% instead of 60. Increases haste status when granted by survivors as they are detected by the radar. Prototype rotor. Increases drone speed rotation. Iridescent unpublished manuscript. When a drone is disabled, the drone gains a 32-meter terror radius for 15 seconds. During this time, the Skull Merchant gains the undetectable status effect. And others. Daily rituals, achievements, loadouts, tips, scores have been affected to reflect according to the new version of the Skull Merchant. So we're going to take a look at what they did with Trapper. When setting up Bear Trap, the Trapper gets a haste effect of 7.5% for 5 seconds. This is a completely new effect. He did not have this prior to this. The Coffee Ground add-ons has been updated to indicate it is now an additional haste effect. And when trial begins, 8 bear traps will spawn on the map instead of the original 6 that has been since launch. Other killer tweaks. So for Huntress and both Trickster, they changed the amount of time it's going to take to get reload. So reload hatchets or knives has gone to 3 seconds. It was 4. Death Slinger. Reloading takes 2.6 seconds, was previously 2.75, and then they changed a bunch of add-ons to make it better. So for example, Warden's Key decreases the spear gun's reload time by 0.35 seconds, was half a second. Still basically the same amount of time with Warden's Key, but just because of that 0.15 second decrease in the natural loading speed. Jaw Smasher and Wanted Poster kind of work the same way. Increase movement speed by 1.5, or in Wanted Poster's case, 3%, while aiming down a spear gun's sight was reflectively 1% and 2.5%. So both of those got a 0.5% boost when aiming down the spear gun. Legion. It's all going to focus on BFFs to add on. Earn tokens for hitting survivors during Feral Frenzy. Second chained hit, 2 tokens. Third chained hit, 3 tokens. Fourth chained hit, 4 tokens. Fifth chained hit, 5 tokens. Once the gates are powered, if more than 15 or more tokens have been collected, gain a 6% movement speed. This is up from the original 4% it was last time. The introduction of the anti-phase camping feature. Survivors on a hook with an internal camp meter, which fills when the killer is nearby. The meter fills faster the closer the killer is, but slower when the survivors are near. Never becomes negative. So like that bar might stop progressing completely because there's too many survivors in the area, but it will never start going backwards. Once the meter is full, the survivor gets a prompt allowing them to escape the hook with 100% probability. So this is a guarantee that you will jump off. Survivors who take this action are gain endurance for 15 seconds. This feature shuts off once the exit gates are powered. Now, here's the thing. This also works for second hook. So as long as the exit gates aren't powered, you can get this a second time. As part of the system, the cannibal can no longer hit a survivor who has endurance twice in the same 0.5 second time span. Events and archives. Tome 17 Commitment Level 1 of the new tome opens tomorrow at 11 a.m. The Haunted by Daylight event starts the 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Haunted by Daylight Halloween tome opens at the exact same time. The event pop-up has a new tab where you can view details of the event gameplay. Event currency. This is what we had leaked earlier, and we're talking about this now. Haunted by Daylight introduces a new reward, Dark Trinkets, as exclusive current for Halloween events. Dark Trinkets are earned by completing challenges and levels within the Haunted by Daylight event tome. Spend Dark Trinkets on cosmetics and charms within the event's collection screen. Collection milestone rewards. Milestone rewards are a set of rewards that unlock by unlocking event collection rewards. Earn all the cosmetics to earn them all. Easy peasy. Map and bot improvements. We're going to go over those next. Shattered Square has been reduced in size, and it's also been made so to the point where you can actually not see so straight across it. So let's take a look at it. Shatter Map received a lot of comments at release. Some issues were released to objects being low to the ground and hard to see, especially when the killers that are navigating with first-person camera. We did clean those up and make sure loops felt smoother. We also cleaned up the inconsistency where visual and navigation language. Objects were placed in a way where it felt possible to simply climb. Because of these similar angles to stairs or other slopes found on the maps, this was resolving in some of the objects placing assets that match collisions. The line of sight was very low, and as players could see across the map, which we were just talking about, a clear line of sight is detrimental for both role depending on the play style. We have changed the position of tiles within higher line of sight block to more predominant. The size of the map was large and decided to reduce the size to encourage more encounters, make it more dynamic, and reduce the amount of time to find interactables, generators, hooks, totems, etc. We did something similar with Macmillan Estate. So this has been in the game for 7 years. We changed the layout with availability of the community for a while. The NT reminds us to give players a chaotic experience. Therefore, we're adding new variations of Macmillan Estate, and that's about it. Bots, rework bots, skill check systems, success rates now correlate with skill check size, and skill check debuffs such as Doctor's Madness or Huntress Lullaby reduce the odds of hitting a skill check. Remember, as a mid-chapter, bug fixes is usually a little bit on the higher side since we're not adding new content per se, as in the form of a new killer or survivor, or even a new map. Let's see, a bunch of fixes in the archives, like for example, Deadly Sense, you can't hide, weren't gaining progress. Destructive Investigation wasn't giving out the right blood points. I got it. Wasn't updating for Skull Merchant. Updated some other stuff for Skull Merchant because of the change now to her works. Let's see. Fixed an issue and back off master challenge. The other challengers did not award progress and inflicted successfully wiggling out the killer's grasp. Like nothing big, it's just making sure the tomes work. Audio, fixed an issue that caused the Hooked on You music not to be playing on Trickster's Paradise beatdown outfit. Fixed an issue where the French voice did not match the tome in Tome 15. Fixed an issue prevented the Xenomorph to hear generators while in tunnels. Bots. Bots can now attempt to self-unhook. Bots now can also stare down the killer early with the standing still option besides remote flame turret. Bots now try to look for potential killer approach paths when doing long interactions. Characters, fix an issue that caused survivors grabbed by Trapper while vaulting towards him to be seen clipping into the ground. Fix an issue that causes the Doctor to be able to see inside of lockers while walking by them. Fix an issue that caused survivor Yunjin Lee's Tome 17 Sparta outfit armed to break using a flashlight. Fix an issue causing cameras to clip through Ray's saber-tooth weapon after hitting a survivor. Camera not to display properly during the Cenobite Summon of Pains. Fixed it 2 issues with Xenomorph's tail attack, one not being able to hit survivors behind it, and one where it did not match collision. Environments and maps, fixed an issue in Lyria's Hospital where the sided generator was blocked by assets, and fixed an issue of Pale Roads where the group of blockers were too close and prevented possible navigation between them. Some perk stuff too. Fixed an issue where the territory imperative perk not active when a survivor enters the basement. Fixed an issue that caused Pain Resonant to not be able to explode a generator blocked by deadlock. Fixed an issue that caused Blood Pact perk's icon to appear dimmed when the haste effect was active. Fixed an issue on the Switch which was not allowing them to interact with friends. A UI for consoles loadout search bar virtual keyboard now appears player's selected language. In the store UI, exclamation marks for the content DSM will now correctly display on viewer content. And the name of character properly will change president until legendary outfits equipped. Wait for mystery box animation to complete before advanced blood web to the next level. Some miscellaneous fixes. Equipped charms are now always visible on displayed characters in the store. Fixed an issue that caused the flame turn to remain invisible even while vaulting. All right, PTB adjustments. So first we had bots. They no longer pick up items with nearly no charges remaining. Fixed an issue that could occur when playing with a bot having reassurance. Fixed an issue vault location on the Nostromo wreckage that bots were unable to use. All right. Skull Merchant, obviously there's going to be a bunch of changes because they just reworked her and wanted to make sure it was doing what it was supposed to do. First 3 are all increases to the drone. So we got a rotation speed while stealth mode from 50 degrees per second to 60 degrees. Increased drone rotation speed while scouting mode from 75 degrees to 85 degrees and increased drone detection radius from 8 to 10 meters. Decreased drone initialization time from 1.5 to 0.3 seconds. Wow, that is a big time drop. Recalling drones no longer put power on the cooldown. Recalling drones is available at all times, regardless of the cooldown. Add the ability to change drones' rotation direction while using radar. Drones always deploy facing away from you and only rotate after initialization phase is over. Randomized strobes add-on properly increased duration of hinder status by 1 second. And the Ada Valente number 1 add-on properly reduces skill checks by 20%, not 50. All right. Some tweaks to anti-camping. Added 7-second grace period for the killer to not be able to leave the area before the system kicks in. Okay, that's a good one. And there was none. Like you would hook them and it would start on the PTB. That was kind of annoying. So I like how you can hook them and kind of look around for a couple of seconds and then leave before it actually goes. Carrying a survivor in the radius stops the progress bar from building up. Dying survivors in the radius slow down the progress bar. And vertical distance are now treated differently to avoid unintentionally triggering the system through floors. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Perk updates. Furtive Chase changed Functionality when hooking the obsession gain undetectable and 5% haze effect for 14, 16, or 18 seconds. Background player increased the burst speed to 200%. Sprint burst no longer triggers at the same time as background player. Review the loops at shattered square, make sure they were not too strong, and reduce the number of pallets spawning. And miscellaneous, fix a crash that would occur with splash screen. Sacrificial reward offering no longer disables map repetitive prevention. The shape's arm no longer stretches during the standing moray from the survivor's perspective. And that's it. That's what we're working with. As we all know, typically mid-chapters don't bring anything new per se to the game. No new survivors, no new killers. We did get the anti-face camping mechanic, which is brand new, and they even tweaked it a little bit based on the data they saw from the PTB. Now, of course, Skull Merchant is kind of new. She's going to play vastly different than she did before, and I think it's almost safe to say that she's kind of dead. Like, she's not going to be a great chase hunter, and she still can't 3-gen camp, so I don't think you're going to be seeing a ton of Skull Merchants moving forward. You might see someone take her out today just to see how she works, but like going forward, I just don't see her being very viable as a killer. And of course, there was a little bit of tweaks here to maps or perks, but nothing major. Like, this wasn't a major overhaul of the game. And of course, we're going to have the new tome starting tomorrow. And then, of course, Haunted by Daylight starts on the 18th. So we have some really fun stuff to look forward to and to work on in the next couple of months until we wait till Chapter 30's brand new license killer, which I have a feeling we'll probably start seeing leaks on sooner rather than later. Let me know in the comments below what you think of everything. Do you like the changes? Do you not care? It's just another day in Dead by Daylight. Let me know. I want to hear it. As always, thank you for watching, and later, mates.